Where are we going?
The Sopranos is considered one of the greatest shows of all time for several reasons. First, it broke new ground by being one of the first TV dramas to focus on a morally ambiguous anti-hero, in this case Tony Soprano, a New Jersey mob boss. The show's complex characters, sharp writing, and nuanced performances from the cast also contributed to its success. It dealt with issues such as family, mental illness, addiction, and infidelity, which were not often portrayed on television at the time. The Sopranos also made use of innovative storytelling techniques, such as dream sequences and flashbacks, which added depth to the characters and their storyline. The show's finale was highly controversial, but also lauded for its ambiguity and artistic merits. Overall, The Sopranos is considered a groundbreaking and influential show that raised the bar for television drama and paved the way for future shows like Breaking Bad and The Wire. At the time The Sopranos premiered, it was uncommon for a television show to have a protagonist who was not a clear-cut hero. Tony Soprano, played by James Gandolfini, was a complex and morally ambiguous character who committed acts of violence and engaged in criminal behavior, but was also a family man with a softer side. The show's creator, David Chase, made a deliberate choice to challenge traditional television tropes by depicting a protagonist who was not wholly likable or virtuous. This approach allowed for a more nuanced exploration of human behavior, moral dilemmas, and the consequences of our actions. Tony Soprano became a character who audiences could root for and empathize with despite his flaws, and this paved the way for other complex anti-heroes in television dramas. Throughout the series, Tony grapples with his own flawed moral compass and the impact of his choices on his family. One of the key themes of the show is the importance of family, both biological and chosen. Tony's relationship with his wife Carmela, his children, and his family in the criminal world all demonstrate the complexities of familial ties. The show also explores the generational conflicts that can arise within families, as Tony tries to balance his own upbringing and values with those of his children. The show also highlights the importance of communication and honesty between family members. Tony struggles with depression and anxiety, as well as his relationships with his mother and father demonstrate the impact unresolved family issues have on individuals and the relationships that they create. Tony is affected by depression and anxiety, among other mental health issues that he has. His mental illness is shown to have a significant impact on his personal and professional life, including his relationships with his family, friends, and colleagues. Throughout the series, Tony experiences panic attacks, depression, and anxiety, which often cause him to isolate himself from others. He becomes emotionally detached and struggles to perform his job as a mafia boss effectively. Additionally, his mental health issues frequently affect his behavior and decision-making abilities, leading to erratic and sometimes violent acts. Tony's mental illness is also portrayed as being a result of his traumatic childhood and the stress of his life as a mobster. The show highlights the impact of trauma and stress on mental health and the importance of seeking professional help for those struggling with mental illness. The Sopranos portrays the complex and often devastating impact that mental illness has on individuals and their families, highlighting the need for understanding, empathy, and effective treatment. Addiction is also a major theme in The Sopranos, and it affects many of the characters in different ways. Tony Sopranos struggles with addiction to food, alcohol, and prescription drugs, which he uses to manage his anxiety and depression. His addiction leads to weight gain, health problems, and strained relationships with his family and friends. Christopher Moltisanti struggled with addiction to heroin, which leads to him becoming increasingly unreliable and volatile. Also ends up causing tension between him and his girlfriend Adriana La Serva, who also struggles with drug addiction herself. We see Johnny Sack addicted to tobacco and Ralph Cifaretto addicted to gambling, which ends up leading to financial and personal problems for both of them. Overall, addiction is shown to have a destructive impact on the characters and their relationships, and it is portrayed as symptoms of a much deeper emotional issue going on within the life of each character that they have either failed to address or that they refuse to address. Adultery is also a recurring theme in The Sopranos, and it affects various characters in different ways. For example, Tony Soprano's infidelity has a significant impact on his relationship with his wife, his children, and his mistresses. His daughter Meadow becomes disillusioned with her father when she discovers his extramarital affairs, and it strains his marriage with Carmela, to say the least. Tony's mistress, Gloria, struggles with mental health issues herself and ultimately ends up taking herself out as a result of the pain caused by Tony's infidelity. Other characters in The Sopranos also experience the consequences of adultery. Christopher Moltisanti has affairs throughout the series, causing tension with his fiancée, both with his girlfriend Adriana at first and later on his wife Kelly. The impact of adultery on these characters often involves feelings of guilt, shame, and betrayal, leading to strained relationships and, in some cases, tragic consequences. The dream sequences in The Sopranos are crucial to our understanding of Tony Soprano's subconscious mind, revealing his deepest tears, desires, and insecurities. They also reflect his struggle with mental illness and the blurred lines between reality and fantasy in his life. Throughout his dreams, we see Tony grapple with issues such as his relationship to his mother, his feelings of guilt and regret over his actions, his fear of betrayal, and his struggles with identity and masculinity. The dream sequences are a way for the show to explore Tony's psyche and to deepen our understanding of his character. They also add to the surreal, dreamlike atmosphere of the show and create a sense of ambiguity and uncertainty, mirroring the moral ambiguity of the show's central characters. The ending of The Sopranos was also controversial and revolutionary for a few reasons. First, it ended abruptly without providing a clear resolution to the storyline and character arcs. This left many viewers confused and unsatisfied. Second, it used an unconventional approach to storytelling with an ambiguous and open-ended finale that invited interpretation and speculation. Third, it challenged traditional narrative structures and expectations, forcing viewers to engage with the show in a new and different way. Finally, it subverted the conventions of the gangster genre, which typically end with a violent showdown of a clear-cut victory for the protagonist, and instead chose to end on a more introspective and enigmatic note. Overall, the ending of The Sopranos was controversial and revolutionary because it challenged viewers' expectations, encouraged active engagement with the show, and defied conventional storytelling structures and genre conventions. In conclusion, we can argue that The Sopranos is so great precisely because it deals directly with the human condition. The series argues that the choices we make every day are definitely our responsibility, that regardless of your past history, childhood upbringing, or personal traumas, you and those you love are the only ones who will suffer the consequences of every act and mistake that you make. That although we live in a fallen state as humans, we still have the free will to choose a different direction, unless, of course, it is too late. By having a protagonist like Tony Soprano, the viewer is repeatedly asked throughout the series, over and over again, to inspect their own life and to ask themselves continuously, is it too late for me?
You don't know who I am, do you?
We upload new videos every week, so subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. Click the notification bell to be notified of when we upload these videos. See you on the next episode of Culture Screen.